How's it going? Dave here, and in today's video I'm going to be talking all about power chords and how you can make power chords sound really interesting. So if you're into rock or metal or any kind of genre that has a heavy element to it, you are most likely aware of a power chord. So a power chord is this little shape here. I'm playing it on the 7th fret of the A string with my index finger and the 9th fret of the D string with my ring finger. You get this shape. It's optional, you can put your little finger on the 9th fret of the G string to fatten it up a little bit. Okay, so we've got these two notes, the root and the fifth. Now, the power chord has been used as a staple in rock music forever because it works. It's a solid sound, but there are some things we can do to improve it. So first of all, let's take this fifth at the 9th fret of the D string and drop it down an octave as well. So that would be the 7th fret of the E string. And we are now playing 7 on the E string, 7 on the A string, and 9 on the D string. Now this is an E power chord, and when we bring the fifth down an octave, it's still an E power chord, but the bass note is now the fifth, which is B. And it just fattens the chord up a lot. So if we take a basic chord progression, I'm going to play an E power chord, then a C power chord, then a D power chord, which means 7th fret, 3rd fret, 5th fret. So with a standard power chord, sounds like that. Now if we add that fifth to the bass, it's going to really fatten things up. So let's have a listen. Awesome. So that's one way we can just add a little bit more punch to our power chords. Another thing we can do to our power chords to make our power chords just sound a little bit more interesting is add a 9th. So we've got our root and our fifth there. If we extend the power chord shape again from the bass note, we are playing 2 frets higher and then a string higher as well. And if we do that again, 2 frets higher and a string higher, we get 7 on the A string, 9 on the D string, and 11 on the G string. And you get this interesting kind of sound. So each note of our chord is separated by a string and by 2 frets. 7, 9, 11. And that makes things sound a little bit cooler. So let's try that same chord progression, the E, C, and D power chords, but with this added 9th. And we could even combine the added 9th with the 5th lowered down an octave to fatten the chord up even more. So let's hear how that sounds. Very nice. Those are a few ways you can make your power chords sound a bit beefier and add a little bit more spice to them. Now, the one problem that power chords have though is the fact that they're harmonically quite ambiguous. And what I mean by that is a power chord is just a root and a fifth, so you can't really tell whether it's a major or a minor chord. Now, when there's lead guitar being played over the top, then you can imply that it's a major or a minor chord, but you don't know for sure because there's no third within that chord. A great way of making your power chords sound more harmonically dense and give them more depth is to play triads. And triads are just basically the root, third, and fifth of a chord. If you're not sure what I mean by root, third, and fifth, then check out my music theory video. You can check out up there. It's going to go over what that means and guide you through music theory if you're confused about it all. So first of all, let's work with a major chord. If we have a major chord, let's say A major, what we can do is if we play the low E string, we play the 5th fret with our little finger, we play the 4th fret of the A string with our ring finger, and then the 2nd fret of the D string with our index finger. And we get root, 3rd, 5th. So we've got a major sound there. And what we can do is we can invert these chords. So this inversion is called root position because the root note is in the bass. Okay? But what we can do is we can take that 3rd and place that in the bass, and then our chord would be 3rd, 5th, root. So how would we do that? So we shift up 4 frets, so we start on the 9th fret, and then that is with our ring finger, then we play the 7th fret of the A and D strings. 3rd, 5th, root. So we've got two different power chords for A major now. So that was called the first inversion. Now the second inversion, which is the third shape, what we do is we move up 3 frets instead this time, and we're going to play with our middle finger 12 on the low E string, ring finger plays 12 on the A string, and then index finger plays 11 on the D string. Kind of like an E chord shape. So we've got those 3 shapes for our A major. And what you can do to practice this is try and practice those 3 shapes with every single chord, so all 12. That was major, let's try minor. So let's just stick with A and do an A minor chord. So all we're going to do is we're going to take that third, which is at the 4th fret of the A string, and move it down to the 3rd fret of the A string. So we're playing 5 on the low E, 3 on the A, and 2 on the D string. So that is root position. Now, to get our first inversion, we are going to move up 3 frets, so that is up to the 8th fret. We're going to play our middle finger on the 8th fret of the low E string, and then our index finger is going to play the A string and the D string at the 7th fret. So we've got those 2 shapes so far, and then the second inversion, our third shape, we move up 4 frets. So I don't know if you noticed, but with the major shapes, we go up 4 frets, then 3 frets. But with the minor shapes, we go up 3 frets, then 4 frets. So we start at the 12th fret, and we play 12 with our ring finger on the low E string, 12 with our little finger on the A string, and 10 on the D string with our index finger. Okay, so we got... There we go. And those shapes can be moved down to the A string as well. The triad shapes change when we move down to the D string and the G string, but that's a bit higher up, and I wouldn't really class those as power chords because you're getting into kind of lead territory there. So let's just stick with these shapes, and let's see what we can do with our E, C, and D chord progression. So the E is going to be an E minor, the C is going to be a C major, and the D is going to be a D major. So let's start with E minor. We've got 3 different options for our E minor. We've got this one here at the 7th fret of the A string, 7, 5, and 4. Or we've got the option of 10, 9, and 9 on the A, D, and G strings. Or we've got 14, 14, 12 on the A, D, and G strings. So I'm just going to choose that first shape for our E minor chord. Then for C, we've got a few different options. We've got 3, 2, open. Then we've got 7, 5, 5. And we've also got 10, 10, 9. I'm going to choose 7, 5, 5 because it's really close to the E minor chord. All I have to do is move the 4th fret of the G string up to the 5th fret. So, and it sounds really cool. Then for the D major chord, we've got this option. We've got 5, 4, 2 on the A, D, and G strings. We've got 9, 7, 7 on the A, D, and G strings. And we've also got 12, 12, and 11 on the A, D, and G strings. Now I think the closest option would be 5, 4, and 2. So let's try all 3 of those chords, E minor, C, and D in the chord progression. 1, 2, 3, 4. Awesome. Now the great thing about these triads is that the second time round you can use a different shape. So for that D, second time round, now I'm going to play this shape, 9, 7, 7. So let's hear how that sounds. Cool. So that's just an idea of what you can do. I usually opt for these triads now instead of power chords because it adds some harmonic depth to the chords that I'm playing. There's still nothing wrong with doing your standard power chord, but if you want to switch things up, make things sound a little bit cooler, or if you just fancy a change, then maybe try adding the fifth to the bottom, adding a ninth, or playing one of these triads. And maybe your riffs will sound a little bit more inspired and interesting, I guess. So if you enjoyed the video, make sure you like the video. Let me know what you thought in the comments. Do you want to see more rock and metal videos? I know the audience of this channel is very much a neo-soul, but if there are some metalheads around, then I will gladly make some metal videos. And make sure you subscribe to the channel, hit the notification bell so that you're notified every single time I release a new video. And if you're interested in making some really cool sounding chord progressions, then head to the description and grab the first 2 chapters of my book, Chord Charisma, for free. In those 2 chapters, I show you how to write a solid foundational chord progression out of the 7 chords in a key. And then from there, I show you with chord shapes how to add 7ths, 9ths, 11ths, and 13ths to those chords to make them sound more sophisticated and more jazzy. So if that sounds like something you'd be interested in, go to the description. It's absolutely free. I'll say that again. So I'll see you in the next video.